Hello and welcome to Intuitive Journey with Desiree. I am Desiree Holmes Scherini, your host, and I am delighted today to have a conversation again with Ayse Hogan. You've met her before on my show, and if you'd like to go back, we had a two-way conversation some months ago, but today our conversation is all about her intuition, her new project, which I'm so delighted to be part of, and it is the International Academy of Universal Self-Mastery, which is just about to launch. And so welcome, Ayse. Glad to have you here again.
Hi, how are you? And I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. And I know you've been super busy
Yes.
doing so much work, and you look so well rested considering I don't think you sleep lately, right?
Not really. I kind of work like, I don't know, anywhere between 12 and 17 hours a day right now, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but you're making something amazing, and I'm so excited. As your friend, I'm really proud of you. It's like, congratulations. It's like, I just want to give you a big air hug. And hot chocolate and
hot chocolate would be good. Chocolate would be good.
That might be arranged because I know I can tell, that you're working really hard to make this a success for you and everybody else.
A big project.
And for the students that are going to come on. So, so let's start with, I'd like to just start with your background personally as hypnotherapist, coach, and let people know who you are and how you got to where you are right now.
So my background before all of this was I'm a self-mastery coach. And with that comes hypnotherapy, some energy work. I work a lot with just various different methodologies that my focus is really about helping people step into their mastery. I find like a lot of facilitators use the word healer, but they are healers. And I am not a believer in that because I believe it's the client that's the healer.
Of course.
It's the client that's doing the work. I am the facilitator. I'm coming in, I'm bringing the tools, I'm bringing, it's up to them whether they're going to do the healing or not. So to me, they are the healer. Yeah. But I think that the, that same barrier that we always cross is them believing in their own mastery. So, and what they're able to do and how they are truly like without limit. So it's really bringing out that in them and making them understand that these things that you think that you can't do, you got this, like you can, right? So it's just showing them how to do that.
I know I've had a hard time with writing up my, credentials or whatever. And some of the trainings are such and such healing. And I always have a hard time with that. And I put it in there, but I agree with you that it's, when I talk to people, I'm like, well, I facilitate you, creating your own healing. Yeah. And so it's true, and people do heal themselves. You would just have them see it, right? So so you were working. You also have your own business separate from the acronym, by the way, for International Academy of Universal Self-Mastery is IAWESOME. So as we go, IAWESOME. So as we go forward and we say IAWESOME, you'll know what we're talking about.
Right.
So, in addition to that, there is the Chakra.
Well, the Chakra House of Healing actually is as far as paperwork goes, IAWESOME is a product of the Chakra House of Healing. And and I say we because there is a council of us, so there's 8 of us. But when IAWESOME started, it started off as a vision. And when I say that, I know people think that's kind of hokey, but really let me just tell you what happened. So when COVID started, it was after COVID, and when COVID started, I kind of took it as a sabbatical for myself a little bit because I'd been working so hard trying to promote my own business and constantly, the run, looking for the, almost like, felt like a bit of an ambulance chaser, like always looking for that next one.
You need healing.
Right? Yeah. And, always doing a lot of marketing and just, constantly working on that hamster on a wheel thing going on. So when COVID hit, I was able to just kind of relax a little bit. And I took some time for myself. And in that, I started just really stepping into my meditation practice. So this particular day, I was going into a meditation and I'm a person with a very busy mind. So there's always a lot going on in there. So for me to find that quiet space, my trick has been to take myself to familiar places. Even if they're imaginary places, but they're familiar because I go there a lot in my mind, right? So, I'll go to a mountain or a beach or someplace that I've been a million times in my mind. So it's able to help me get into that trance state of what I want to get into. So that particular day, I was going to one of my familiar places, but I didn't even end up close to one of those places. And I ended up on some like field. And I'm on this field and I'm wondering why I'm there. And there's thousands and thousands of people, which I thought was weird in my meditation, but there was thousands and thousands of people and everybody was dressed in white and everybody was on these yoga mats, like these yellow gold colored yoga mats. And I don't know if it was because of COVID. I don't know if it was because there was it was a big field, but people were spread out. Like there was people were not really next to each other. And I think the weirdest part out of all of this, and I say weird, but it was weird and wonderful. So my new word is weirderful. It was like really weird. And was that I actually felt myself for the first time ever. I felt myself like slip out of this body and land in my body in the field.
Interesting.
And I was present on that field, as present as I am here right now. And that was the part that kind of threw me. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And I was standing behind a microphone and I could see through my own eyes and I knew I was talking. I couldn't hear what I was saying. I think I was leading a meditation just sort of kind of based on what everybody else was doing. And in my mind, I felt like there was two consciousnesses. Like there was me on the field that was leading this meditation, if that's what I was doing. And then there was me that just got there from here going, how did I get here? Like, what am I doing here? Right. So I did hear in my head, I shall look right. So I turned my head to look right and I saw this beautiful campus of like old buildings, but they had a really modern feel to them and lots of but big. And I was like, what is that? And people who do see visions or do get stuff like that, they'll know what I mean when I say usually when those things happen, you see them like a dream. Like there's that blurriness to them. It's not like super clear. But because I was there, it was like HD TV. I could see everything like I do here, right? Yeah. Like everything was very clear. And so I'm there and this is happening. And I'm looking at this thing and there was this incredible energy coming off this campus. It felt like a heartbeat.
Wow.
And because every time it would beat, I felt like I was being pushed. It felt like this heartbeat. And I just felt incredible big love. Like I can't even explain it. It was just, I was like, just tears of love were coming out of me. And I was not understanding, but I was understanding. So I understood why I was seeing it. I was understanding what all of this meant somehow.
Yeah.
Cognizant in my head. I don't know how I knew what this meant. But there was this other part of me that was saying, how? Like how I first of all, why are you showing this to me out of all the people in the world? And two, how am I supposed to do this? Do you know that it's COVID? Like, how am I supposed to create a campus?
Open a campus.
Right? Like, how am I supposed to do this? And, my practice is slowed down due to COVID and everything. And I was just like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to do this. Like, I don't know. So I remember slipping back here and I'm in my living room and I'm looking up at the ceiling and I'm still like in this state and still saying like, how am I supposed to do this? And before I knew it, in the next few days, things started showing up, like huge things like that were giving me big signals and in my head saying, Ayse, that's it. This is where it begins. Look at that. Like, so it was so obvious. I would have had to have been like in a coma to like not understand what was happening. And still I wasn't sure. And it was funny because I started telling some friends about it. And they were like, okay, well, this is really great. Like, what's the business plan? And I remember thinking when they asked me that the first time, I was going to say, I don't actually know. That was what I was going to say. So I opened my mouth to say, I don't know, when all of a sudden I started talking for an hour. And I started talking about the business plan, how it was going to lay out, what the revenue share was going to look like, details. For 1 hour, I started like laying it all out for them. And I remember while I was talking, I was like, where is this coming from? I don't even know what I'm going to say next. Like, so it was just this thing that was happening. And unless someone's gone through it, it's really hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even now it feels so surreal. It's hard to explain what happened. It's like something took me over, but it was still me.
Right.
So I don't even know how to say it.
Well, it's sort of like, I understand. When you're talking, it reminds me a little bit of going through a past life regression.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that.
And so
It was a little bit like that, but there wasn't any like, yeah, it was like that, but much clearer, because I kind of knew what I was supposed to do. I just didn't know how I knew it.
Yeah, just the sense of reality of like saying,
yeah,
like, I'm making this up, or like, this is real. I know this is real, even though my body's just laying there, but it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of crazy stuff, but crazy in a good way. It was crazy in a good way. And before I knew it, a week after that, I'd already started. I was on a platform at the time. I'd found this platform to do this. I decided that it was going to be not brick and mortar, but it was going to be where spirituality and holistic and alternative was going to meet tech. And it was going to be this online campus, but something that's very different than anything that's out there. And I know that saying that is a really big statement. It's like, how can she say that she's got something that that's so different than anything that's out there? But it's funny because I've even hired some people to do my home pages and stuff like that. And I've ended up having to do everything myself because they're saying, actually, we can't find anything like you to even compare to like know how to create what it is that you want to create. So it was just, it's been a weird experience from beginning to end. But the most amazing people have shown up in my life. In my council of 8 people, I only know 2. And when I say I only know 2, like I only have history before COVID, pre-COVID, to 2 of these people. The rest of them showed up after the vision, and they showed up like fell in my lap, like in weird ways. Like Selena showed up, Selena Alamoon, she showed up on my Facebook newsfeed.
Huh.
She's not even a friend of mine, never even heard of her before. All of a sudden she was on my newsfeed.
That's interesting.
And she was doing a meditation or something, and I immediately felt drawn to watch this. Right. And so immediately I emailed her, and before I knew it, she was involved in IAWSOM. My friend Lisa Berry, who actually did join up as public relations and media, immediately said, well, I want to come, but you also have to, I need to bring Tomas Garza. And I didn't even know it, but because I wanted Lisa, I was like, okay. And Tomas is a very powerful part of our academy, of our council. Yeah. And, people just started showing up, and I've got Stephanie Carvello, and this one's amazing because when I first started, I had said to Selena, I wish I could find, like, I need someone like my right arm, because I have so much to do. Someone who can like keep up with everything and is just really skilled in a lot of things and really good at it, and a team leader, and someone who is like, a lot, I don't know, a lot like me, but has all the things that I need. And I said, I wish I could get my hands on Stephanie Carvello. And before I knew it, a few months later, not only did I get someone like Stephanie Carvello, I actually got Stephanie Carvello. So, and it was just because I thought she was working somewhere else and didn't even approach her.
Oh. And
all of a sudden I ran into her one day, and she said that she lost her job at the beginning of COVID. And I said, hey.
She's ours.
She's ours. So it was just, everything happened, and it's been like that ever since. And IAWSOM is very different because it's a place where teachers and mentors and facilitators and healers, for this, like a lack of a better word right now, and faculty come together in a collaboration.
Yeah.
Yes, they all have their own businesses. I get that. But here in IAWSOM, is the only thing that they need to bring to IAWSOM is their passion and their knowledge. And I don't want any of their marketing. They can leave that at the door. And we don't want any of their upsells, and we don't want any of that stuff. Like, that's not what we want here, because we're creating a community. And it's not only a learning platform, but it's a social platform. So it's got its timelines and its groups and its profiles, and people can connect and they can become friends. And the really great thing about this is that I did a little bit of research trying to understand things about some courses that you're teaching online. And last year, $165 billion was spent on people buying online courses.
Yeah,
so
and I'm one of those. I love online courses.
$3,500 a second or something is like being spent on these online courses, and only 9% of people finish those courses.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, as you know, as I do, is that it doesn't matter the knowledge. It matters if you actually take action and use that knowledge, right? The execution of the knowledge is what's important. So out of those 9%, how many actually used what they learned?
Right.
Right. So iAwesome is a little bit different in that every single course has a group attached to it. And the reason for that group attached to it is that now no longer is a student learning by themselves.
Yeah. It's
right?
nice
They're
to have
actually
support.
part of something. And
Exactly.
students can learn together, and they can start to make connections and friendships and all of this type of thing. And they can communicate with their teacher. So it's almost like a virtual classroom.
Right.
And they can motivate each other, and they can start taking action on the things that they learn. Right. So it's very different in that respect, because you're not just doing this by yourself and, hoping you'll get through it, and are you going to actually do anything with what you learned and all of that kind of stuff. Well, here you've got a better chance because you've got a whole support system.
And what I like about that for the students, like you said, there's not the marketing, there's not, and I, as one of the instructors creating my course, I had to remember it's so different than everywhere else where you offer a course and then you say, hey, if you want to work with me, or there's this other course, or because that's what we're taught as business people. The business side of what we do is to always, have something more. And I think as a student, like putting the student hat on, that, they join the academy, they can, go and sign up for courses, take courses. There are free ones and paid ones, and there's groups, and like you say, it's an environment, and you don't feel that like pressure to like, oh, well, I should sign up for this because I just took this free one, or, there's not that pressure. It really is.
So like, do it in the next 48 hours for $97.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, there's none of that nonsense. So it's like you get your choices back. No one is trying to push you or pressure you into anything.
Just enjoy the environment, and you enjoy the class, and it's all about the learning and the group and the,
or just hang out.
Yeah,
because we have a campus feed, right? So it's just like, people go to social networking platforms now to just hang out for a few hours and write about things and read people's stuff. It's the same kind of thing, and that's what it's going to be, right? So you don't necessarily have to come in to learn every day. You can just be there to be a part of something and be supported.
Name some of the groups that are already formed. I know there's like a book club.
So there's the spiritual book club. So that's a fun one. I think that a lot of people are starting to do some books as courses. So I don't know what's going to happen with that one. We'll see. But we've got like Gaia's Medicine. So Gaia's Medicine is one where the teachers can come in and start teaching about, and this one's an open group. So it's a public, like a campus group. So that one is where they can come in and they can learn about, I don't know, herbs and oils and different potions and lotions, but there's no brand names. We're not sitting here going, buy this brand,
right?
Use this brand. There's no MLMs. There's no selling. We don't allow any selling on the website. So there's no selling at all.
Pure information.
It's just pure information. You choose. We'll give you all the tools that you need to choose well, but you will choose, right? We have another group that we're starting that's called a multicultural cuisine, and that one's going to be like cooking, right? So raw chefing and different kinds of things in there. So that's just going to be about chefs or cooks coming in and just doing almost like cooking classes in there. So that's almost going to be fun, right? We've got body work and body rock. And body rock is like, we've got a teacher who's going to be teaching Qigong. We've got rebounding. We've got yoga. We've got and it's all, instead of all of these people having their own groups, they're all collaborating in one group and just teaching at different times. So a student can go in there and find all this stuff inside one group.
That's fun. Yeah.
And then there's the courses, and every faculty member is bringing in complimentary courses as well as paid courses. In fact, they have to bring in complimentary courses. It's part of their agreement with iAwesome. So that means if we've got 100 faculty now, plus it keeps growing, then we're going to have over 100 courses that are complimentary when someone comes in.
Right.
So, and right now our courses are going through their compliance. And what that means is once a teacher finishes a course, it doesn't just go out there in the academy for people to start taking it or purchasing it or anything like that. It goes through our compliance team. And what they're checking for is Are your websites mentioned in there? Is there links taking people off the page? Are you talking about, oh, come and see me one-on-one for coaching? Because if any of those things are found, we send it back to the faculty member and we go remove them.
Right.
Give it back to us. We want pure knowledge. We want pure passion. Leave your marketing at the door. But we're very patient about this because we know that people have, this has been ingrained in everyone. So it's been a bit of a disorientation for our teachers and a bit of a unlearning curve, because we have to teach them a new way of being, to remember, really to remember why they started doing what they're doing in the first place before all the marketing and stuff had to happen. So why did they make that choice? And why, you know, so just to sort of bring that back, to bring out their why again, like why they're doing what they're doing.
And just
to
do it for the joy of it too. You know, so much of what, you know, as a hypnotherapist, life coach, I just enjoy it. And to feel like, oh, I suppose I should be, you know, marketing this or marketing that. It's kind of fun to just share. Yeah. I mean, it is, you know, I have a paid course and a free course, and I'll have more paid courses and more free courses as I go on. But to not feel that, you know, is this leading someplace? Yeah, it's all that I guess it's good we have the business training for other platforms, but for this platform, it's almost like a little vacation from that selling thought. Even though I don't like to sell, and I seldom push my stuff. So, which is probably why I'm not a six-figure hypnotherapist yet. But
so we also have something called an appreciation program, because one of the things that I knew that had to happen was that this would have to sustain everybody. So I had to think about what that meant. So yes, we have an agreement with the faculty with their paid courses. There is a revenue share there, more in their favor, of course. And there is a fee to be able to come in to enroll as a student into the academy. Mm-hmm. They're going to have access to all this complimentary information, right? Yeah. Courses and stuff. But I thought that's not enough. Like there still had to be something more, and I couldn't figure out for a few weeks. And like, what was this? Like, what is it that's niggling at me? Like there's something that I'm missing. And one of the agreements that we have with the faculty is that they have to invite their following, right? They must invite their following, because we don't actually charge the faculty to come in to begin. So there's no like, oh, you have to pay us monthly. There's this initial fee. Yeah. In fact, we give the teachers lots of things. We do the spotlight interview with them. You know, we allow them for articles and blogs. We're going to be doing marketing for them outside of IAWSOM. Of course, we're going to be promoting them. So there's a lot of stuff that we do for the teachers, but we don't actually ask them for anything other than their passion and their knowledge.
Right.
And to invite their following. So I thought, okay, there's still something that's like a big piece that's missing here. Like, what is it? And I woke up in the middle of the night. So this is how things happen for me. If I'm not sure what to do, I sort of think about it before I go to bed. I put all the pieces out, like, okay, so a following, what is a following? I'm asking them to bring all their following on, but why would they, right? So, you know, so I had to sit there and think about it. And I'd be like, so what's a following? A following is a person who buys, you know, coaches or hypnotherapists, like packages, blah, 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 all these different things, right? But I took all this stuff in the middle and I said, let's go from A to Z. What is it? A means this is the person that they put their stuff out to. Z means at some point there's an exchange of some kind, right? So then I went to bed with that. And like all other times, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning like a bullet with the answer. And the answer was the appreciation program. So now for the faculty and the students, for everyone that they refer to IAWSOM, our fee to come in, the tuition, is $9.99 a month.
Right.
Pretty standard, right? Because I've learned that, you know, somebody asked me once, like, why can't they come in for free? And I said, free is too expensive because nobody actually has any value when it comes to free. Right? They don't value it. They don't care, right? When it comes to free, they just, you know, people like stuff for free, but they let all their free stuff pile up and they don't really do anything with the free stuff, okay? Mm-hmm. Free has really no value. So, I thought, okay, so how do I do this? How do I make it sustain everybody? So for every person that comes in that let's say you enroll 10 people, I'll say just 10 people, for $9.99 a month, they come because you referred them, then you get 50 cents per person per month. So that's $5 a month. If you bring in 100 people, that's $50 per month. If you bring in 500 people, that's $250 per month. And the same thing for the students. So yes, they pay $99.99 a month, but they can also make that back and then some, right? As long as they stay with our core values. And the core values is no marketing, no ads, respect, integrity, encouragement, right? We have a set of core values. And also there's no bigotry, racism, that kind of stuff is not allowed, because inside iAwesome, we really understand the universal properties of being connected. So that means it doesn't matter what you're wearing on the outside, it's who you are on the inside that's important to us. So it doesn't matter what you look like or whatever, or what skin color or what country or what culture or whatever, that doesn't matter. And the interesting thing about iAwesome is we have teachers teaching different languages, because we have teachers coming in from all over the world. So we've got our categories are usually there. We have a business, technology, and finance. We have creative arts and learning. We have holistic, spiritual, and alternative. We've got health and fitness. We've got, oh wait, there's two more. We've got, I should pull up the website. There's two more categories. So we've got all these categories for you to learn. And the whole point of it is we see every student like a diamond. And that diamond has all these facets. And every facet is something that they need to help them step into their self-mastery. And we are going to have a coach or a teacher or a facilitator or a leader or a mentor to help them with that.
Or many.
Because, because one person can't be everything for anyone.
Right.
So it's a place where we're all under one roof, and our teachers are not a commodity. Right? So if you see some of these other learning platforms where there's various teachers and various courses, they're looking at their courses as products and their teachers as a commodity, and they just care about what they're going to get out of it. We're not like that.
Yeah,
I mean, as you know, Desiree, we have weekly, if not bi-weekly meetings. We all get together as faculty. We listen to you. We're doing this as a collaboration. Our faculty is, if my counselor are the sisters and brothers of iAwesome, then our faculty is the uncles and the aunts. So we are really a family. And we're here because we all have the same vision. And that vision is to create a place where we can help people get empowered, grow, enlighten, step into their mastery, and become the best versions of themselves that they can be. Because we've reached a time in this earth right now where the earth is trying to do its own healing, and there's there's a lot of weird stuff going on, and people really got to notice what's happening right now. And if they don't, then we're at a point of no return, and we really need to come into a new way of being. And that means stepping away out of your fears and starting to step into who you are.
And I think when you talk about, the world, it is worldwide. And what I love about iAwesome is it is worldwide, but even that bigger picture, your vision, your emotion and feeling around this is very high frequency, very high vibration. It's not about, only money. It's about, you got to, what's the right word? Support it and support yourself and ourselves through it. But the goal is that communion of people, and everything on there is about, all the courses are about higher frequency. And for someone to go into that sort of a space, to step onto that virtual academy and spend time in there, will do so much more for themselves and the people around them and the whole environment, because I'm very much into worldwide frequency, as that will do so much more than anything that engages them in being angry about something, or watching the TV, or dueling with others over who's right. It's like such a good time to go inside yourself, to collaborate, to have conversation and to communicate with people at that higher level about better things, higher things, learning and growth, and experiencing just a happier level of life. It's just like you say, it's time.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
neat,
time
we need
because
to
people are
raise that vibration.
raise the vibration, because we are living a time where people are afraid. They're becoming afraid. They're walking around hiding behind masks. Like to the time where like I see them driving in their cars with their masks on and they're by themselves. Or I'll see like, they're walking down, like I live in a cottage country. So like I'll see them walking down the street by themselves
All
with their
alone,
mask on.
covered up.
And I'm just astounded. And if we let this fear, I'm not saying don't do your due diligence. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is don't live in fear over it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that it's funny. We have to wear masks for COVID, but I actually think COVID is the mask. COVID is masking what's really happening right now. Yeah. And there is really a shift. There's really something changing in there. There's something in the air. There's something that's happening. And it's almost like you got to pick a side. We're getting to the point where you got to pick a side because something's going to happen and you better be on the right side of it. Like,
and that's so funny too, because, in conversations, certainly either side, many sides insist that you're on the wrong side. And I've had this conversation with some people that believe definitely one way and the other way. And so that's why I'm even saying too, that it's like, you choose and this is what I love about you, is you follow your intuition. Mm-hmm. And the more in touch with yourself you are, the more in touch with source, God, the truth you will be. And I think more people that can go inside and just breathe and say, does this feel right? Does this feel like, when I think and let it go inside, is this good? Is this right? Or does this something twinging in there? And then you imagine that, of course, this is what I do. This is my course.
I get it. Yeah.
But it's also what I just preach, is like, it's like, go inside and listen to yourself and then feel your body. You'll know if one takes time to feel if there's a knot, there's something wrong. Find out what that is. So if there's something's wrong, and what you're saying, something's wrong in our environment right now, but going inside, I can choose my answer.
Yeah, and just choose where you're going to be with it. And also, I think a big thing right now is that I think part of how I opened, reasons why I'm really open to this, is that number one, I made a decision to get out of the box. So, we had this box of beliefs, and I thought, I'm just throwing this box away right now. Yeah. And I'm just going to, because, as 80% of our beliefs are given to us, as we grow up. And I thought, you know what? I haven't even tested half of these beliefs. I don't even know if they're real. So it's just like, I'm going to get rid of this belief, and I'm just going to be in right now. And for the first time in my life, I said, I'm just going to surrender and see what happens and what it brings, instead of having expectation, obligation, this has to be like this, that's supposed to be like that. And it was just like, I could almost envision in my mind, like 2 double doors opening up in my heart, and myself just saying, whatever it is, bring it on. Like, I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what I'm supposed to believe here when it comes to, universe, source, God, Allah, Buddha, what all these things are. But just like, show me what it's supposed to be. And I'm just going to throw all of my beliefs aside for a second and listen.
Right.
And I think that was the best thing I ever did. I really believe that was the best thing I ever did, because my beliefs were like other people's fears, what my mom told me I should be doing, my whole life, and what other people have been telling me, that I couldn't actually make a choice for myself because I was too busy listening to everybody else. So I thought, in order to really step inside myself and listen, I need to throw away the box. I need to put it all aside and just listen to me.
That's so funny, the way you describe that. It is so much how I shifted my life. And I'm like almost verbatim, that, word for word, it was like my mother, my friends, society, who was saying this. And then even literally in my book that I wrote from those experiences was talking about my mother saying, just stay in the box where you're safe. That was like one of the lines. She wanted to keep me safely in the box where she knew I was safe. And just that experience of literally, getting out of the box and going, wow. And just that, the weight that falls off when you start to just allow. And I don't know if I talked to you this last time about this, but about a year ago, how I'm talking about intuition, because I wanted to get back to you. I was having the words allow and it's the little things. Allow and it's the little things kept popping up in my head. And I'm like, what does that mean? What's this allow and it's the little things? So I kind of started going with that. And then I found, just allowing this letting go, but then it's the little things showed itself up in so many ways and in so many good examples. And now we got to talk about a virus and that little thing. And it was about these little things have power to change the world, right? And that something we can't even see. So when we think about the little things, and so I'll translate this into a more positive spin, is when somebody thinks that they don't have the power or they're nobody or it's such a little thing, why should I let it worry me? Imagine the power of the little things and little things you can do to change your life. Little steps, like just allowing. But I want to ask you a question.
I'm going to throw you something there.
Yeah.
So you talked about this little thing being that little microvirus.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had these little things around forever. Atoms, molecules, neutrons. All of this makes up energy. It's all, all of these things make up energy. So those little things have always been around. Mm-hmm. We've just chosen the wrong little things.
Or to hyper focus on something that's already been there.
Right.
And it's when you like somebody has a bad habit and you're hanging out with them and all of a sudden you notice it, like they chew with their mouth open or something. Right. And once you focus on it, that's all you can see. So this kind of feels like, the hyper focus on one thing is just too much. And you need to look away, go to iAwesome, enjoy some classes.
Exactly. And it's funny because when I named iAwesome, I didn't it started off as a university. It started off as the University of Self-Mastery. Then I realized that I couldn't use the word university because that's an accredited, educational word. And then I was like, okay, what am I going to call it? I know I want Universal Self-Mastery. So I moved to Academy of Universal Self-Mastery. And then I was looking for the website, awesome.com, AUSM. Actually, I didn't even know at that time. It still didn't register into my head.
Right. Sounds like awesome. Yeah.
And awesome is a word that I say all day long. Like it's always been this word that I've used forever. And yet I still didn't make the connection. And it wasn't until another one of the teachers, Rebecca Putnam, came up to me and she was like, did you realize you keep writing AUSM and you say awesome all the time? She goes, I bet your school has this acronym of awesome. And I was like, what? I didn't even make the connection. And when I looked for that website, I couldn't find it. And then decided to call it International Academy of iAwesome, because to me, it felt like a mantra. And we are international. We are because we're not global just because you can get to us anywhere from the internet. We are bringing in teachers from everywhere. Yeah. And it's going to get bigger and bigger.
And I love that you have teachers in other languages and so that's really, and it can just grow from that. So I think that's really fun. I'm just excited for you. I want you to tell people, because like I said, this is the intuitive journey with Desiree. So I always like, you're a great example of someone who followed their intuition and for your own, and that it takes you in that more fulfilling, passion-filled life instead of being afraid. But tell them about your vision board on the wall. Oh. Talk about a vision board. If people don't know what a vision board is, a vision board is when you cut out pictures or you write things or, put things together. Usually it's on like a piece of paper.
A Bristol board or something, yeah.
And things that you want to see happen in your life or that are valuable to you. And so you create something that reminds you of where you want to go. But you took it to a whole nother.
I did. So I went out and part of my sabbatical was to do some things. So it's like for myself. So I sat down. First thing I did was I started working on my 300 list. So a 300 list is 300 things that I want in my life. that I want to bring into my life. And you do it up like a to-do list, like with a little square that you would check off, like when it happens kind of a thing. So, you know, you start writing 300 things, which is not easy, by the way, because you can usually get through the first 50 or 60 and you start writing, and then you start thinking like, what else do I want? But I just kept, like, every couple of days I would add more to it, and I would just read it every single day, everything I wrote, right? So I just kept doing that. And before I know it, it was like a dam broke in me. Something like snapped, and I got to about 100, 125, I think it was at, when all of a sudden I just started writing. Like, I just knew what the rest of it was, right? So I just started kind of going with it. And at the same time, I decided to do a vision board. So I ripped through my house because, you know, the COVID thing was happening, and I found all these magazines and stuff that I'd had like everywhere, and I started ripping everything apart, you know, and as I was like trying to design these, like, I love these vision boards that people make, and they're so perfect looking.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, I don't want something perfect looking. I want something that looks like I just regurgitated it onto a board. Right. So I started doing that when I realized these boards are not big enough.
Right.
And I looked at this wall in my house, and I was like, oh yeah. And I just started, it was the whole wall. And it's funny because I have not been like in a personal, like, romantic relationship for, I don't know, 12 years or something, a long time, just working on other things. And I started putting up pictures of a reception, but not just any kind of a reception. It was just a very outdoors in a forest kind of reception, right? And above it, I wrote the words, like, I found the words big love, like in huge big letters, and I put those on the wall. And I had no idea at the time that there was going to be a lot of relationships coming into my life and a ton of big love, which equals I awesome. I had no idea that this is what was going to be happening to me. I was just looking for one relationship, like, who was for a relationship during COVID? Me, apparently. But that was just one thing that I wanted. And all of a sudden it turned into, I have hundreds of relationships now and loads of big love in my life.
And so you're too busy to even have a romantic relationship right now.
Well, unless he's very patient and knows how to use a computer really well and can kick in and give me some help.
That'd be great. Yeah. At first I thought you were going to say you start putting up, you know, male models on your.
No, I also put a picture of Oprah Winfrey. She is a woman that I've always, not like, you know, it's not like I want to be on the Oprah Winfrey show, like nothing like that. Although one day I'm sure she'll be interviewing me, but that's not the thing. It was one day I want to sit down with this woman and have a girls' night and just drink a bottle of wine and just talk. I think she is fascinating. Like, I think that this is a woman that's shown up from a past that maybe she's not the most proud of in her life, and created an amazing life for herself because she believed, and she had a vision, and she had a dream, and she didn't turn her back on any opportunities, and she just went for it. And she's the perfect example of someone who can come from anything. And I think about my own life, you know, and where, you know, where I took myself to in my life, where I was almost suicidal, in a very bad place. And I've completely turned my life around. And that I just, you know, she was always a mentor to me. And I think that, like, and just watching her life felt like a mentorship to me. And I remember watching one of her videos, and that's where this whole thing of surrender comes from. And she has this 10-minute video that's about the story of the color purple in her life, when she got the color purple, and the whole thing about surrender and how strong surrender is. And that instigated me into creating surrender in my life. And it was just like, to me, she played a big part in that whole thing, unbeknownst to her. But I would love to be.
Well, now she knows, because I'm sure she watches my show.
I'm sure she does too. She just, with bated breath every day, just waiting for the next episode. And, you know, I put a thing about, you know, Forbes magazine. One day I'll be in Forbes magazine, and not because I don't think it's, you know, it might be because I Awesome goes off the charts, but to me, it's like I Awesome, the money, the income, the revenue that will come in from I Awesome is an outcome. I think the most fascinating thing is this: out of 8 of us that are in this right now, well, 9 if you include my tech team is 2 people, so 9. So at the 8 people that hold space on the council, I calculated it the other day. None of us put any money into this outside of me buying some plugins and stuff for the website.
That's lucky.
So because one of our council is a fascinating like web designer, developer.
Fantastic.
To make a website that matches a vision with no compromise is truly something. And I said to him the other day, like I wrote to him the other day and I said, you know, people can learn how to play piano in this world. A lot of people can play the piano, but there are very few pianists. And I said, and you are our gift for sure. And when I sort of thought about all the time that we've put in over the last 5 months, we have easily spent over $500,000 in sweat equity.
Wow.
In the time that we've put in.
Yeah, you think of hour for hour and
easily over $500,000 in sweat equity. And our website alone is over $40,000. So in sweat equity is what I would have been charged if I was his client.
Yeah,
right?
It looks great. It's beautiful.
And it's not done yet. Like we're still working on it, right? So it's not done yet, but it's, you know, people are on it now. Like you can come in and you can do things, and we've got beta testers coming in right now. And I just found out about one glitch that we had that actually made some of the beta students leave because they thought they couldn't take the courses, but they didn't tell us about it, right? So that was the reason for the beta testing. It was saying that courses were in review, so they couldn't get into them. But that's what they were supposed to tell us so that we could fix it.
Right, that's why they were invited.
I just found out about it yesterday, so that we'll be fixing that. So that's fixed already now. So it's just, it's been an interesting journey. And right now we've got about 100 faculty members. I stopped interviewing because I needed to get the website going. I needed to put the pieces together, and I'll be back to interviewing more. I've interviewed every single teacher that's come on pretty much.
I know.
Because I wanted to make sure that we had the teachers that still had the passion. They weren't worried about how many packages am I going to sell and what am I going to do and how many minutes do I have to spend in that group every week. And like, it was just like, wow, really?
Yeah.
You know, did you forget all about the money now?
Yeah. Just enjoy it. And you know, I'll tell you, I am not, I need a business manager because I enjoy my work and I'll do stuff and then I'll forget if somebody paid me or didn't pay me, and you know, it's.
You didn't say that. You're gonna end up with an onslaught of clients that will pay.
Yeah, well, but I'll remember if they're new. Now I'm working on that. Like somebody will say, "Did I pay you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Let me check." You know. I'll get so involved, you know, with my client. Okay, bye, have a great day. And then they leave and then I'm like, oh, did they pay me?
But it's true. And, you know, you have to love what you do. And I think I was getting annoyed before COVID because with my practice, I was spending 2/3 of my time marketing.
Yeah.
And 1/3 of my time doing what I love to do. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like this feels wrong. And I hate marketing. And it's like, why am I doing this? And it's just like, every day I'd have to, you know, I'd have my coffee, I'd sit in front of the computer and I'd be like, okay, where do I got to post now? And what do I got to do? And it was just like, really, this is not what I signed up for. I wanted to help people, not do this.
I think there's an energy behind it too, don't you? You know, because you and I both believe in that, you know, frequency and energy. And I remember some time ago, a couple of years ago, I was frustrated because I wasn't getting new clients, and I'd had, you know, it's like, what is wrong, you know? And I was, you know, sending stuff out and I was promoting stuff, and I think it was almost that, it was like out of a negative space, and this was like part of that whole allowing thing, was letting go of trying. Letting go of the trying. And I use that with clients a lot too. I had someone come in for weight loss. She'd been trying to lose weight for so long and she was stuck. And so the similar kind of a feeling, I'm like, well, let's just allow that weight to let go. Allow yourself to let it go. And she started losing weight. It was kind of weird because
it's a commitment. When you allow, you release. I love the word trying.
Yeah, because
it's such a non-committal word.
As long as you're trying, you're not doing it. Yeah.
I like to, when the very first thing I do with trying, when a client of mine says something, or anyone that I'm speaking to says the word trying, I said, okay, so imagine two people are getting married. And then the minister says, will you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? And you say, I'll try. Right? There's no trying. It's I will, I do. That's when you make a choice. No one says I'll try in those moments. So
you may be thinking it though.
but trying and wishing and hoping, I think, are very they're very nice sounding words, but they're very non-committal.
Yeah. And usually if somebody says I'll try when you ask them to do something, that's just count on it. Yeah, they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. Oh, okay, babe, I'll try.
Yeah, sure you will.
Oh, but that whole just allowing, and then it was almost like magic that it took down that block, that effort blocking thing, and it just let that out of the way, and things started to just flow. And it's really interesting, the energy of the ways we can block ourselves by trying too hard.
Well, that's the law of reverse effect.
Yeah.
Right. So people always talk about the law of, there's a couple of laws that people forget about because they don't know them. Right. So the law of attraction, we all hear about that all the time. Mm-hmm. Then there's the law, and I teach this one when I'm teaching hypnosis. These other ones I teach all the time too, is the law of economics. Right. So the law of economics means if there's no exchange of some kind, there is no value. So if somebody doesn't give something for what they're getting, or if you don't take something for what you're giving, there is an imbalance of there, and there is no value in what's happening. The interesting thing is, I've had even and a great example, and I've talked to lots of other coaches about this too, is that, we've all given away stuff. I've done it where someone, I know I really want to help them, right? And they don't have the money to pay for one of my packages or whatever, right? So I say, don't worry about it. Come in here. I just really want to help you, right?
Yeah.
My packages are say 12 sessions. They usually don't make it to the third. They're already making excuses about why they can't make it to the session, why they can't do their homework. Sometimes I'll sitting here in front of Zoom, they don't even show up, right? But that never happens for the person who pays for the sessions.
Right. It's true.
There is something with the law of economics. That's why I say free is very expensive. It costs me a lot of money to do things for free.
And it costs them too, because it means that the one who's ignoring the free is staying where they are. They're not progressing where they say they want to try to get to.
Right, exactly. And it's one more thing that they tried and didn't work. Well,
and you don't want to be the one on the other end where they say, "Oh, I tried, but it didn't work."
The law of reverse effect means, sometimes we try so hard to make something work that we are actually pushing it further and further away from us.
Exactly.
It's like we're not giving it a chance for the flower to bloom. We're just looking at the seed going, well, grow already.
This ties to, and I'll try not to go on too long with this, but it ties into some metaphysical stuff that I've been working on and teaching too, is the manifesting, that whole step to manifesting where you let go.
Right.
You put that intention, you put that energy in, but then you let go, and then it manifests. But the whole letting go is really, I want to say, the hardest part sometimes, because when someone wants something, they want to watch that seed, they want to wait for the pot to boil, but it's the trick of walking away, put some water on the seed, or
just have some faith that
walk away,
gonna do it.
And allow, and then it comes back to, and just allow it to show up, and it magically does appear.
I know it's been like that. I have to say, even ever since the interesting thing that happened, the most interesting thing I think that happened, well, there's lots of interesting things that happened too, are awesome, because a business like this, it usually takes about a year and a half for it to really, where you would take it and launch it.
Right.
Awesome wants to be born bad, because she just has been bringing everything, and it's happened in 5 months.
She's an October baby.
She's an October baby. So that's it. She knows when she wants to be born, where she wants to be born, who she wants present. She knows it. So she's making it happen. But the interesting thing in all of that is that I have always been a person that's like, I don't know if you feel that way, but you worry about like, am I going to have enough clients this month? Am I going to like, so this kind of happens, right? I've made pretty much nothing through COVID because I've spent all my time with iAwesome, right? And I'm sitting here like just sort of counting my pennies, paying the things that I need to pay with the money that I have in the bank. And like, I'm doing what I have to do, but I haven't really made anything. And the old Ayse, the pre-vision Ayse, would have been panicking. Like I would have been freaking out by now. I've probably been working at like a coffee shop or something. Like there's no way that I could be going through life without making any money every month, right? So, but I don't know what happened because post-vision Ayse, I woke up in the morning and I'm not afraid of anything. And I don't know, this is so alien to me. It still freaks me out. Like I try to make, you know what I try? I try to make myself afraid and I can't. Like, I'm like, why, where did my fear go?
Isn't that
like,
great?
Why am I not worried about anything?
Doesn't
like,
it feel better?
So odd, right? It feels way better. But it just feels like awesome. I'm thinking about the things that used to freak me out, that would get me into that state of fear. And it's like, I can't even get myself like close to it. Yeah. Like something has shifted, like something up there said, you know what? No, that's not going to work for iAwesome. You need to get rid of that so we can do this thing. I can't even find the fear. I don't even know where it is. And it's really enlightening and it's empowering, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's a good different.
Yeah.
Good different. Yeah. And I love that because it is so easy. And then, like you say, listening to other people, there are people around that would say, aren't you worried? Aren't you afraid?
Oh yeah, no.
You should be worried. You should be. I love people that tell you should be worried and you should be afraid. It's like, oh, well, thank you for that.
Thanks for that support. You know what the best part was when I knew for sure that iAwesome I was on the right path? For the first time ever in my entire life, I told my mom about something that I'm doing and she loved it.
Oh.
There was no like, what if you, like I got that European mom that will what if everything to death and bring every bad thing that could ever happen to the surface. And this is the first time she was like, that's a beautiful thing. That's a wonderful thing. Do it. Wow. Even though she knew that I wouldn't be bringing money in for months. And which would have freaked her out too. And she said, don't worry, I'm here. And I was like, wait a second. Because I was waiting for the backlash and it never came. And I was like, wow.
Even my mom thinks it's a good idea.
Even my mom thinks it's a good idea.
Oh, well, I think that's awesome. If your mom has your back on, then we know it's going to be perfect.
It's like insane. Idea. I was just like, what? Who are you?
Maybe she got the same download, you know? It was like fairy dust sprinkling over your heads up there. And she woke up one day and said, there really is nothing to worry about.
Because she does live 2 doors over with my sister, so who knows? Maybe the vision was so big they got a little bit of the edges of it or something.
Your energy like filtered out there. There's that entrainment.
Could have been.
Anyway, so we are like probably about an hour now, so we ought to wrap it up, or people will turn us off. But how can people find iAwesome? I'll have it down in the notes too.
They gotta know by now. So it's iAwesome.com. So it's IAUSM.com.
Easy.
We are still building our public facing site, but our homepage is up. And I just put the about page up today. The Academy is built. So please do come in and sign up for the appreciation program, which you'll find easily there. Start jumping into some of the free courses. Just start taking right now we're doing a 30-day free trial. For another, I think it's for another 10 days that's out there. Okay. So start up with that and give us your feedback. Don't do what the other people did and there was something wrong and didn't tell us and left. The whole idea of being a beta student is giving us feedback, because what we want to do is create we've created a really nice faculty experience and we're still working on perfecting that. Now what we want to do is create a really good student experience.
Right.
And we need to hear from the students, right? To say, what, this wasn't working, or how come this was under review, or how come I can't get into that, or if something happens and it feels weird, then let us know.
Right, that's what the free is for.
That's right. But you do have to sign up, right? You do have to register, but we do have like 30 days where you have that free trial and you can cancel at any time, and hopefully you won't. You'll just stay with us and watch the courses come out, because they're not just coming out on a dime.
Right.
They're coming because they're going through compliance. There is a filtering system that they go through and before they have to come out.
Or they're like me and they're still tweaking their courses and getting the right stuff into them.
Yes.
So, okay. And so all this information will be down in the details, just in case you forget. And is there anything else you wanted to add before we sign off?
It's just, self-master something in your life. And think about, what have you self-mastered? Our biggest thing is we've got these new hashtags where we're going to be giving everybody a hashtag, and it's hashtag I self-mastered what?
Oh, fun.
Everybody has self-mastered something in their life, right? So it's I self-mastered what? Mine was, I just was doing our council page that I'll be launching today of all our council, and each one of them had to give me an I self-mastered. And mine was, I self-mastered fearless love. And that was like a big one for me.
Yeah, and that is a hard one for a lot of people. So
yeah,
perfect. Okay, so somebody go out there and find iAwesome, all of you, and self-master something or find help on iAwesome.
That's right.
I'm excited to be part of this, and excited for you, and just looking forward to adding more stuff, and being one of the students myself. Some of those courses look so much fun. So
we know what's coming in. We've got over 200 courses coming down. Like, so they're being built right now, but there's a lot of courses coming in and new teachers still coming.
Yes.
So I'm picturing this like 6-7 months from now. It's gonna be crazy. Like lots of
such a variety too. Like such a variety of stuff all in one place, and great community. Okay, Ayse, thank you for being with me.
Thank you, Desiree.
Thank you everybody that's here, and I'll see you next time on Intuitive Journey with Desiree. Bye.
Later. Bye-bye.